On the Mike Tomlin Show, we sit down with Coach to discuss the first half of the season, and we'll take a closer look at the Steelers' Week 8 opponent, the Miami Dolphins. Also, linebacker Devin Bush has made his presence felt in the first 6 games. I chat with the rookie phenom to get his thoughts on life so far in the NFL. All of that and much more coming up tonight on the Mike Tomlin Show.
Here we go. This pass is caught, and that's a touchdown. That's the way to work. Come on. He's hit that sack. The Steelers win the football game. Let's go. Come get it. You know what it is.
This one is in the history books.
Here we go.
The Mike Tomlin Show is presented by 84 Lumber.
Hey, Missi, thanks very much. It seems like it's been an eternity since we've seen a football game, but we're going to get one on Monday night when the Miami Dolphins come to town. But first, Coach Tomlin, it's been a while since we talked, and still have the thoughts about the Charger game and the stadium takeover that you saw from Steeler fans everywhere. That still must be something that puts a smile on your face. That is doing right now.
It is. You know, forget the game and our performance. Certain things just will forever be etched in your mind, and the way that they responded when they put Renegade on will forever be etched in my mind. It's just one of those things, man. I'm continually amazed by the support that we get, even when we're outside of Western Pennsylvania. Our California fans, our West Coast fans have always been great, and they showed why with that display.
We also saw quite a display from Devlin Hodges, undrafted. You know, you knew enough about him to know that he was capable of going in, maybe not winning a game, but not losing. Give us this assessment of what he did, given that stage.
The best thing that he did was he was himself. And I think that's the thing that's been most impressive about him throughout this process. When we brought him in for rookie mini, the situation wasn't too big for him. He was himself. When the veterans came in the spring, the situation wasn't too big. He was himself. We put pads on and took it to Latrobe and played more football-like things, and he was generally himself. And so he had been there at every step along the way, including the preseason games. It was refreshing to see that he could get in regular season action and still be the cool, calm, and collected young man that he's displayed throughout every leg of the journey.
You had to like the duck calls everywhere, I imagine. It's like one of those things.
No question.
Let's talk about Mason Rudolph, though. He's back. Post-concussion, what are your expectations of a post-concussion Mason Rudolph in terms of his development?
You know, I expect him to pick right up where he left off. Taking care of the ball, being aggressive, distributing the ball on time and on rhythm to a variety of people. He's a football junkie. He's a guy that brings a certain approach and attitude every day. Looking forward to getting that back out on the grass and getting him back into a stadium and watching him grow and mature and deliver winning performances for us.
We saw a conservative game plan with Duck Hodges, of course. At the beginning, maybe that was the case with Mason. Are you to the point now where he has full playbook capabilities, and will you look to stretch the field maybe a little bit more?
We have full playbook capabilities, but we're going to lean on things that he's comfortable with, things that he is performing well with, and the journey will reveal what those things are to us, and not only in a practice setting, but in a game setting. And if we need to pull back at any juncture, we're always willing to do that. I think that's the appropriate approach to take when you're dealing with a young cube.
You had a running game that really helped your cause against the Chargers. We saw Benny Snell come in, really his first full action. Your assessment of him and what you saw from him that makes you encourage it, maybe this is something we could see more of.
I just like his general play demeanor, his attitude about the competition and the challenges. Obviously, playing running back is a really challenging job in this business, and at every step along the way, he's proven that he has the mentality for it. And I just thought he did a good job of attacking their defense, of finishing aggressively, of finishing runs, making sure piles fell in the right direction. It's little wins like that on the professional stage that I think young guys don't realize. In the National Football League, it's something to celebrate at times when you get a 4-yard run. When you've been playing college ball, man, I think it's tough to conceptualize that sometimes. I think he's a young man that innately understands that and is ready for that fight.
James Conner was injured in that game. Is he okay for this week?
Yeah, he is, but obviously we're going to take it day by day with our prep and let that be our guide like we always do with any of the guys that are dealing with injury. And we've got several from that game. James Washington, TJ Watt, all of those guys have been somewhat limited in practice this week, and so we're catering their roles relative to that participation.
The wide receiving group as a whole, I'm sure, not delivering the kind of stats maybe that you expected. Is that the result of maybe, with young quarterbacks and maybe a conservative game plan, or are they not doing enough on their own? What has to happen there for those numbers to increase?
It's a little bit of all of the above. We got some inexperienced guys in that room and doing things that inexperienced guys do now. As we push into Game 7 and beyond, that stuff has to disappear. It's okay to openly challenge some of these young people to make significant steps and provide consistent, positive, winning performances. And we're in the process of doing that, and we're, optimistic about the growth and development of some of those guys. But also, you got to acknowledge that, we've through 6 games, man, have played 3 different quarterbacks, and there's something that comes with that. And so, we're not looking to hide behind anything or make excuses. They got to be better. We all collectively got to be better. We got to be better at the quarterback position. We got to be better from a coach perspective in terms of positions that we put them in and the things that we ask them to do. We all got to grow, and to grow extremely quickly, because obviously the standard of expectation is what it is.
One big loss for the defense was Stephon Tuitt. It seems like every week there's been a loss here. How do you make up for his loss? And overall, your defense has created quite a bit of havoc. Do you expect more out of them?
And he's been a tremendous catalyst for that havoc. It's not a one-man job. We have some candidates, and not only candidates in the defensive line room, but a mix of candidates in terms of people that we can employ to rush at quarterback. We got outside linebackers that are very capable rushers. We got inside linebackers like Vince Williams, who are very capable rushers. So, we have enough schematics and enough candidates that it's going to be a shared job in terms of absorbing the impact of Tua, but make no mistake, there will be an adjustment.
It's another all-hands-on-deck week because Miami comes here. They haven't won, but they're dangerous, as Buffalo found out last week. When we come back, we'll talk about the Miami Dolphins coming on a Monday night to Heinz Field. Missy, let's go back to you.
Thanks, Bob. Coming up next here on the Mike Tomlin Show, Devin Bush has been a force on the field, but what is going through the mind of the Steelers' prized rookie? Find out as I sit down for an exclusive one-on-one with a talented youngster. That's straight ahead on the Mike Tomlin Show.
An inside linebacker from Michigan, number 55, Devin Bush.
And it's going to be picked off again, and it's Devin Bush. So it could be a live football, and that's Devin Bush who's going to go into the end zone. Touchdown. Bush has really made a mark early in his career. They traded up to get him in the first round.
All right, Devin, you guys get the win. You are named the AFC Defensive Player of the Week. It's your bye week. You go home and your high school jersey is retired. Is it safe to say you had a pretty good bye week?
Yeah, I had a good week. To put that type of week together is probably unheard of, really. But it was definitely something I'll remember forever.
The Chargers game, did you feel like you put together that kind of performance to earn that honor?
I think, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I was just going out there just to, win. We didn't get a win in the week before, so our main thing was get a win before the bye week.
And take me back to Florida and just maybe the emotions as you can kind of look back now of going back to your high school where it all started and they retired your jersey. Yeah. That's a really big deal.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was a lot of things to think about, but I was just more happy to see all those familiar faces, where it all started. And being able to come back and give back and, show my face in my community, that meant a lot to me. Was
there something that maybe surprised you or maybe caught you off guard during that entire retirement ceremony?
It was the amount of people that came back. People I haven't seen in over, 5-6 years, and they come back and everybody's growing up and look different and doing different things. So it was cool to see all those faces again.
In terms of your play, do you go back and look at the first half of the season, the first half meaning before the bye, and maybe what you've done good and maybe things you can improve on?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a week by week thing. I mean, each game you do something good, you do something you can clean up. So I think as the season goes, you kind of get into that phase of looking back on the week before. What could you work on to improve in the next week?
You are the only rookie in the top 10 in terms of total tackles in the league. Does that mean anything to you?
It's motivation to stay in the top 10 and keep climbing my way up there as the season goes.
Another interception. This by Devin Bush. And it is Devin Bush who comes up with that fumble. Devin Bush has the ball out of the air.
Leading the league with takeaways. Do you have a favorite one out of the 6 so far?
Honestly, all of them are kind of special to me in different ways and, different situations of the game and, different stakes. But I think all of them are pretty special. I don't got a favorite one yet.
There's not one that sticks out, though?
Not yet. Not yet.
So that means there's more to come.
Exactly.
Okay, we'll take that. We had a chance to talk to Jerry Olszewski, your position coach, last week, and he said the one thing about you is that he never tries to hold you back or assume there's something you can't do. He said very similar to how he treated Ryan Shazier.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you guys have that relationship?
Yeah, like you said, he's always, preaching like, hey, look, if you mess up, you keep going, you're a good enough player to adjust and get over that adversity. So, I mean, he kind of doesn't hammer me too hard when, I make a mistake or something. He's kind of just more encouraging.
He said he's never shocked when you make a crazy play, even talking about the Chargers game, the touchdown, then the interception. Do you ever surprise yourself?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes.
Really? In
the moment, it's like, nah, I'm playing football. But after, I'm like, nah, I really did that. It may not be a highlight play, but it's like, something, whether I defeated a block or, I put a move on somebody or something, coverage-wise, anything, that's like, okay, wow, like I did that. It's good.
I know there is enough to worry about in-house just in terms of riding the ship, getting some more wins, stacking some wins, but when your name is being thrown around for Defensive Rookie of the Year, do you listen to it? Do you take it in? Do you not pay attention? How do you deal with that?
I kind of don't pay attention to it. I feel like, this is a team sport. We only going to be as good as we are as a team, and you don't win nothing. Not one person can win, a football game. It's not. Me continue to take care of business. I feel like a lot of things will, come.
Does it mean anything that you're playing the Dolphins for the first time in your
yeah,
NFL career?
I think the Dolphins game, just being from, Florida and being in that area, you always grew to like those colors and the Dolphins. And to be able to go out there and take the field and line up against, I think it's going to be more than what I think it is.
We've already been through a Monday night game, even at home. Do you still get juiced up for it, excited that it is a primetime game? Yeah. You know what the crowd's going to be like and that other people are going to be watching?
Yeah. My favorite game is becoming Monday night.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there a reason why? Short week,
I think
long week?
Long week,
Okay.
better sleep. And it's at night, so you get more rest the day before and the day of. And then you're the only game on. So I think that all collection, that whole thing is probably the best.
Coming up after the break, we'll rejoin Coach Tomlin as he gives us his take on the Miami Dolphins. The Mike Tomlin Show continues after this short break.
The Mike Tomlin Show is presented by 84 Lumber. Are you 84 material? Visit 84lumber.com/careers to learn more.
So the Miami Dolphins come to town. I guess it's never easy to get a winless team. What problems do they pose from that point of view that people expect an automatic win for the Steelers?
I don't worry about those expectations. We realize this is the National Football League, man, and they're a capable bunch. I'm worried about what they're capable of as opposed to what they've done. Some of the changes they made of late make them much more dangerous than their record would indicate. Ryan Fitzpatrick, man, is a dangerous guy. This is a guy that's been in the league 15 plus years, has done it in a lot of cities. We've seen him in several of those cities. We saw him early last year when he had 3, 400-yard passing games when he was with the Buccaneers. He is a capable guy. You can look at the upswing in their production and their scoring when he's a part of their offensive structure. So it was a significant thing what they did going to Fitz last week, and we're gonna have our hands full minimizing him as he gets comfortable in terms of being in there at the quarterback position, down in and down out.
They made a big trade to get Josh Rosen, but he's lost that job. What's the difference between him and Fitzmagic, as they call him down there? Is it just a veteran who knows how to play and keep plays alive?
Fitz knows what he's doing. He has an anticipation that his years' experience provide him, but also he's always been one of those guys that good things generally happen to him as plays get extended. He's capable of making plays as plays get extended and minimizing negativity, and not a lot of quarterbacks can do that. He's one that can. That's why he's always employed. That's why you always see him under center for different teams and so forth, because in less than ideal circumstances, as plays get extended, he has the innate ability of making good things happen.
You have a Fitz that belonged to them once, and Minkah Fitzpatrick. You guys made a big trade to get him. So far, has he been what you expect him to be for your defense?
Without question. He's been little to no maintenance. He's been solidly productive, which each week he is gaining an understanding not only of what he's doing, but how it fits into the big picture. So you're seeing his influence in some other areas, his ability to communicate with others, pre-snap disguises and so forth. All of those things are growing. It's probably realistic to expect those things to grow, but it's still good to see it happening day in and day out, particularly with the start we had. Boy, we had about 2 or 3 days prep, man, and we took him into a stadium. It's good to back up a little bit and talk about philosophical things so he has a better fundamental base and understanding what it is that we do.
Now, that wasn't the only trade Miami made. Kenny Stills, very talented guy, left for Houston. Devontae Parker seems to be the guy they go to a lot. What challenges does he pose?
Parker, the former first rounder out of Louisville, man, is big and fast. He's one of those downfield guys. He's big down the field. He makes combat catches down the field. He's been a consistent performer. He's one of their consistent red zone threats. They don't have a lot of touchdowns, but I'd imagine in the passing game, he's probably got half of them. He is just a consistent splash playmaker. It was one of the reasons why they felt comfortable moving Kenny Stills.
Their defense has lost some guys, but they still have some capable guys. I want to talk about one in particular, defensive lineman Christian Wilkins, who was a #1 pick. It also goes to show you how difficult it is to be a #1 pick, even because he hasn't played all that much. He got ejected last week. Why has his development been delayed?
A lot of it has to do with package football, and I just think that that's an element of 2019 NFL play. On possession downs in particular, they put 6 and 7 DBs on the field, and they do a variety of things, and they put a bunch of outside linebackers and edge pressure like people, Vince Beagle, Taco Charlton, and guys like that, along with Raekwon and Baker. And so there's not a lot of room for interior defensive linemen. But make no mistake, Christian Wilkins is a talented guy and worthy of his draft selection. I imagine over time his play will bear that out.
For you guys, it's very important. You got the first of 3 straight home games here at a time of the schedule where you need to do some catching up. How important is that, especially when you know they're right here against teams that are pretty much in the same situation you are, specifically Indy?
You know, I hadn't thought a lot about it, to be honest with you, man. I deal with today's problems and issues. We're going to knock the dominoes down one at a time. We're not worried about the position of others. They're really just the nameless gray faces that we play. You know, we wouldn't make a big deal out of it if this group was undefeated. So why are we going to make a big deal out of it? Because they haven't won a game. It's about our preparation and our play with respect to them, their schematics, and the matchup issues relative to their talent. But, man, we're just, you know, in the state that we're in, we better focus on us and the quality of our play and how we utilize our people and their playmaking abilities. And that's where our focus is. And I can't imagine that changing anytime soon, particularly within this 3-game block that you speak of.
One final thing, you guys have a tight coaching community and fraternity. So Brian Flores is a first-year coach. Do you at all feel bad for a guy who goes into that situation, you know, given the stuff he's been handcuffed with?
Not at all. You know, we're all pretty decently compensated. I'd imagine that there are a lot of people at home that don't worry about our plight, and rightfully so.
I think that's what you'd expect. A guy's trying to win. This is what it's all about. It's not easy business. When we come back, Missi, we have more with head coach Mike Tomlin. We're going to talk about the game on Monday night and also bye week. So what does Mike Tomlin do on his bye week? That's coming up a little bit later. Missi, back to you.
When we come back, we'll get some final thoughts from the head coach as the Mike Tomlin Show continues. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Mike Tomlin Show, everyone. As the team prepares for its return to the field against the Dolphins, history bodes well for them as the Steelers are 18-12 all-time in games following their bye week. Now let's go back to Bob for some final thoughts from head coach Mike Tomlin.
Missi, thanks very much. So it's the bye week. It's been 2 weeks since the Steelers have played football, but you had some time this week, and I know you spent a lot of time in the past with your family. You got kids, they're moving on in life. How did you spend your bye week?
The usual. My kids' activities are my hobbies. I had an opportunity to go back to William and Mary, my alma mater, for homecoming. It was an interesting trip because it's 25 years for me. And so It was a 25-year reunion. So I saw a lot of people that I went to school with and stuff, but the official business that I was there under was my son Mason was there on an unofficial visit. So I had an opportunity as a parent to watch him, participate in the recruiting process and witness the game. And, he's got a decision coming up here soon. And it's just really cool to be involved in that and see that. And actually, it's even cool to do it for a second time. I feel a little bit more educated this time around because my oldest son is in college now. So hopefully we do a better job advising and helping Mason sort through his choices and decisions.
Does that advising include any arm twisting since you went there?
I'm going to work hard to stay out of it. He knows my position when I say nothing. and so I hadn't said a lot because I'm rooting for the tribe always.
All right, there you go. One final thing, color rush uniforms this week. You probably don't put much into uniforms, but the Steelers are 4-0 in them, and they're viewed by a lot of people on polls as the best color rush uniform. Do you like those uniforms?
I do, and if we're undefeated, maybe we should wear them every week. I don't know if that's allowed by rule, but I'm into that.
Well, we're into the Steelers on a roll here, and they have a chance here starting on Monday night. Coach, thanks for your time as always.
Thank
we
you.
Appreciate it. All right, that'll do it for this week's Mike Tomlin Show. Be sure to join us tomorrow morning for our pregame show at 11:30 a.m. on Sunday. The game, of course, on Monday night. For Missi Matthews and head coach Mike Tomlin, I'm Bob Pompeani. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next Saturday.